Please remain standing or rise in body and spirit as we speak together our Sunday covenant. Love is the spirit of our people, and service is our call to build the beloved community, to seek fuller truths in love, to dwell together in peace, to offer aid and affirmation, and to tend to our mutual well-being. This is our covenant.
This morning's music recognizes Solstice, Yule, and Wassail. I invite you to join in the Yuletide Carol, Deck the Hall. Deck the hall with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la. Please be seated.
Good morning, All Souls. My name is Jana Owens. My pronouns are she and her, and I am honored to serve as your worship associate today. Now, if you're a first-time or kind of a newish visitor, whether you're here in the sanctuary or if you're attending virtually, we're really glad you're here. I welcome you to a warm, supportive, and inclusive community. And by the way, we're glad that all of you are here, not just the new people. All Souls is a place where everyone is welcome, where social justice is an integral part of our spiritual practices, and where love is central to our mission. I invite our first-time visitors to stop by our welcome table after services in Pierce Hall. Pierce Hall is to my left, to your right, through those double doors and across the hallway. We have a welcome table there where you can receive a gift, and also we have coffee, tea, munchies, and good conversation. Now, in your order of service here in the sanctuary, or in the chat on Zoom where you'll find a link to a connection card. This is more than just a form, it's an invitation. If you're looking for ways to get involved, you're seeking support, or you just want to stay in touch, please fill it out and drop it in the collection plate during the offering. And please include your contact information, as each week we seek to respond to what is shared, and your name and contact info helps us do that. First and second-time visitors who include their mailing address will receive a gift. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm really, really happy today is winter solstice. I'm so tired of it being dark when I get up, and then it's dark before I feed the dogs and they want to walk. And this morning I chose to wear a glittery top because it makes me think of looking up at the stars, that our sun is a star and the earth is dependent on it, and that the earth is dependent on us humans. It feels like we're stuck in Groundhog Day with the winter solstice. Because of the harm inflicted on immigrants in our country, it's like there's a shadow cast over things to me and gloom to a lot of people. Also because the earth is not being taken care of as we're contributing daily to global warming. With a new administration, a lot of people's reaction were just, I can't look at the news, I can't read the news, I can't cope with what's going on. But you know what? People organized. We're fighting back. My trigger was reflecting on my former husband's family. Nazi concentration camps, Russian Siberian concentration camps, a lot of deaths, and thinking about the parallels to 1930s Germany. That got me going. So I began to volunteer with multiple immigration rights groups, Tacoma Park, Silver Spring, Montgomery County, Central Maryland. I'm doing all kinds of things and getting more involved. It gives me hope. It brings light in my world. And it does, even if it's indirectly, it helps the immigrants. We at All Souls are among those who fight back for justice, for immigrants and for others. And we extend loving hands to them, and many of us work toward protection of the earth itself. Now, All Souls is an extended family, and for us to help each other, it's good to know each other. So if you're on Zoom, we welcome you to turn your cameras on to greet one another. And in the sanctuary, we invite you to get up and move around as you are comfortable and able, and greet your neighbor. When you hear a bell tolling, please return to your seats. Again, welcome to All Souls.
As has been shared, this is the solstice this very day. And this is a traditional solstice carol, which I would love to share. The words are up here. The words are, round and round the earth is turning. Can we say that together? Round and round the earth is turning. And turning always round till morning, and from morning round till night. So you can see it's describing the motions of the earth. And I'll teach line by line. We'll do some call and response like this. Here's the first line. Round and round the earth is turning. Your turn. Round and round the earth is turning, turning always round till morning, turning always round till morning, and from morning round till night, and from morning round till night, round and round the earth is turning. Turning always round till morning. And from morning round till night. Yeah, that third line is a little tricky there. Would you play that one? And from morning round till night. Yes, round till night, round till. Now that we know it, I just invite you to sit back. We'll sing it 3 times through as a meditation and a carol for the solstice. Round and round the earth is turning, turning always round till morning, and from morning round till night. Round and round the earth is turning, turning always round till morning, and from morning round till really quiet. Round and round the earth is turning, turning always round. Super quiet, super quiet. And from morning round till night.
I'm the Reverend Caitlin Cotter-Coilberg, your acting Minister of Religious Education, and today I have a story for you, a Yule story by the Reverend Erica Barron, which I've slightly adapted for length. And what we're going to do this morning is I'm going to ask for 2 volunteers to be 2 brother gods, and kids, otherwise I'm going to ask you to stay with your parents, and then we'll recess together after the story. Did you know that recess is a word for like to leave a place together to music and not just to go out on a playground? Isn't it cool, all these weird church words we have? So do I have 2 people willing to act out the part of 2 brother gods? I've got crowns for you. And adults, you can volunteer too. Or I've got 1 brother god. Do I have 1 more? 1 more brave volunteer. Oh, come on down, come on down. All right, would you like to be the holly god or the oak god? What do you think? Oak, all right. Strong choice. Let's see, I did pad this on the inside, so it should be relatively comfy. There we go. All right, and our holly king is coming. Holly king, come forward. Excellent. There we go. All right, let's see. All right, how's that? Is that okay? All right, here we go. So I don't know that it happened this way, but I do know that it's true. That once upon a time there were 2 brother gods. One brother was the Oak King, who wore a crown of oak branches and was the god of growth, light, and warmth. Everyone say, ooh. The other brother, the Holly King, wore a prickly crown, ouch, and was the god of death, cold, decay, hibernation, and darkness. Everyone say, ah! The brothers were equally strong. You guys want to look strong for a minute? and forever fighting with each other. Now, don't actually hit each other, but can you like pretend to sort of fight at each other? There we go. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, we have such good actors in this congregation. Repeating the same pattern of fighting year after year. For half the year, the oak king would grow stronger, and the light would increase, bringing warmth and growth. All right, so grow strong. Show me like growing stronger. Yes. Oh, yes. Ah, ha, ha. And then on the longest day, he would be defeated and thrown down by the Holly King, and the light would gradually decrease, and eventually the land would rust and the cold would come. Everyone say, ah! And then, on the longest night, that's today, right? The Oak King would defeat and throw down the Holly King. And this cycle would repeat over and over. Everyone say, ooh, ah! Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. And then there came to be a race called people. The people loved light and warmth, and they feared darkness and cold, and so each year they would celebrate the victory of the Oak King. Ready? Ooh, yeah. And they would mourn the victory of the Holly King. Oh. The people gave their strength to the Oak King. Ooh. But not the Holly King. Ah. And the people began to invent new ways to find light in the darkness and warmth and the cold until they could spend all of their time in the light they had created and be warm all year round. Exactly. So everyone just bask for a moment. Oh, it's always light, we're always warm, la, 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 la. But, right, because there were consequences. The people began to notice that darkness was disappearing. Everyone look around, try to find the darkness. It's disappeared from the land, driven out by the light they had created, and the cold began to flee too, and the whole world began to get warmer and warmer. Summer started sooner and lasted longer. Is this sounding familiar? Right? Ice that had been frozen for longer than the oldest person could remember began to melt. Migrating animals were lost and confused. Plants couldn't grow where they had before. The winds changed, causing floods and droughts and terrifying storms. Oh. The people began to see that their support of warmth and light over cold and darkness had altered the balance of the whole world. They began slowly to realize that the Holly King was not just being defeated, but dying. You want to look sad and sick for a minute? Excellent. Oh, sorry, you're the Oak King. You're the Holly King. You look sad and sick. Excellent, excellent, sad and sick. Good correction. Everyone say, uh-oh. That's right. For the first time, this thought of the poor Holly King dying filled them with fear. Everyone shake with fear. Oh. What would happen if the balance continued to be destroyed? Could they even survive in a world without the Holly King? Everyone say, uh-oh. And in the world of the gods. Now it actually is your king. The Oak King realized it too, and he realized that he loved his brother deeply and could not live without him. So the longest night came, but this time the Oak King had no heart for the fight. He laid down his sword and his spear, which I didn't bring because we don't bring weapons into this space. And he came open-handed to his brother who was struggling just to stay on his feet. Excellent, struggling. And the Oak King hugged the Holly King after checking for consent. Do you consent to be hugged? Do you want to? You can hug if you want to. There we go. Excellent, excellent. And promised to help him heal. Everyone say, "Aww." And the Oak King took off his crown and put it on the head of his brother, and each supporting each other, they went out into the world to see what could be done to restore balance. So, you guys want to take a bow? Yeah. All right, and kids, we're going to head out to RV spaces to see what we can do to restore balance. And adults, please sing us on our way.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may.
Good morning. My name is Sunu Chandy, and I use she, her pronouns. I've been in the pulpit a couple of times in other roles, but this is my first time serving as liturgist. Thank you, Reverend Rob. Thank you. I will be sharing announcements, congregational care items, and a prayer. So announcements. All are invited to join us in person or online for the Christmas Eve services. Our early family-friendly service is at 7 p.m., followed by warm beverages and a cookie potluck. Please bring cookies to share if you can. Our later Christmas Eve service is at 10 p.m., so you have two options, or you could come to both services. Then on Sunday, December 28th, we invite you to our regular Sunday worship as we celebrate Kwanzaa, a holiday honoring African and African American heritage, community, and traditions. We are proud to note that Dr. Maulana Ron Karenga, Kwanzaa's founder, received some of the money needed to develop and publicize Kwanzaa through a Unitarian Universalist Fund, one that had been set up to support Black empowerment. All are warmly invited to this service. Please do come that Sunday. Social Justice Feds, the confidential drop-in support group for current or former federal workers and contractors, will shift from meeting weekly to monthly in January. We will meet on the first Sundays of every month at 12:15 at the library. Our next gathering is on January 4th. If you got an email from me with some other date, ignore that. We're going to do the first Sundays of the month. Thank you. Last, please save the date for our congregation's spiritual mini retreat on January 31st. Details will be coming in January. We have two congregational care matters. The first one is particularly heartbreaking. Puri Roper asks that we keep his childhood friend Brian and his family in our prayers and meditations. Brian's daughter, who is a senior in college, took her own life. Their family and community are reeling from this tremendous loss. Let us hold them with tenderness and love, as well as all individuals and families struggling with mental health challenges. The second item to share is that we send prayers for a swift recovery to New Walker, who had a minor medical procedure this past week. For our prayer this morning, I would like to share beautiful solstice-related lyrics from a song by Dar Williams, The Christians and the Pagans. This is a kind of reaching across the divine energy that we so need in our world. I hope that perhaps you are inspired to do that kind of bridge building in your lives too. When I saw a video of Dara singing this song online yesterday, in one of the verses, she replaced the lyrics with the Christians and the Muslims. I share that to say, if you don't know this song, it's a great Unitarian kind of song. Please take a deep breath in and out as we take in these words written by Dar Williams. I've said her name 3 times because I am a poet, but I did not write these lyrics. These are lyrics by Dar Williams. Amber called her uncle, said we're up here for the holiday. Jane and I were having solstice, and now we need a place to stay. And her Christ-loving uncle watched his wife hang Mary on a tree. He watched his son hang candy canes, all made with red dye number 3. He told its niece, it's Christmas Eve. I know our life is not your style. She said, Christmas is like solstice, and we miss you, and it's been a while. So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground the best that they were able. And just before the meal was served, hands were held and prayers were said, sending hope for peace on earth to all their gods and goddesses. The food was great, the tree plugged in, the meal had gone without a hitch, till Timmy turned to Amber and said, is it true that you're a witch? His mom jumped up and said, the pies are burning, and she hit the kitchen. And it was Jane who spoke. She said, it's true, your cousin's not a Christian. But we love trees, we love the snow, the friends we have, the world we share. And you find magic from your God, and we find magic everywhere. So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground the best that they were able. And where does magic come from? I think magic's in the learning. Because now when Christians sit with pagans, only pumpkin pies are burning. When Amber tried to do the dishes, her aunt said, really, no, don't bother. Amber's uncle saw how Amber looked like Tim and like her father. He thought about his brother, how they hadn't spoken in a year. He thought he'd call him up and say, it's Christmas and your daughter's here. He thought of fathers, sons, and brothers, saw his own son tug his sleeve, saying, can I be a pagan? Dad said, we'll discuss it when they leave. So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground the best that they were able, lighting trees in darkness, learning new ways from the old, and making sense of history and drawing warmth out of the cold. Let us sing our prayer together, Fuente de Amor and Spirit of Life. Thank you.
Amen. So as I've shared more than a few times, I grew up as a Unitarian Universalist. My parents had both been raised Presbyterian and found that Unitarian Universalism was a better fit for them before either my older brother or I were born. And I would say that my general experience of growing up is that we were culturally Christian, that we would celebrate Easter and have a Christmas tree and such, but God and Jesus were not central parts of our faith in a Christian way. But nor was solstice. In fact, I don't remember my parents ever saying the word solstice or anything happening at my congregation. But as I've gotten older, I've been drawn more and more to the solstice and to seasonal rhythms as opportunities for both celebration and grounding. Most of the shift has been a slow progression over many years, being exposed to different rituals here and there, finding more and more people that I trusted and respected who observed the solstice, and then starting to lead solstice observations as part of my ministry here. But there was one notable event in my life that shifted my thinking all at once, and perhaps paradoxically, it happened during a class at my Christian seminary. I went to Wesley Theological Seminary. It's a fairly liberal United Methodist school in upper Northwest DC, right beside American University. And I was in a class that was looking at what counts as idol worship versus what counts as legitimate worship. And it was mostly looking at historical understandings, but it was clearly not just about history in either the way the text was written or just by the comments that my classmates were making about it. And it just struck me then as ridiculous to say that the only correct way to worship was in a church or a kind of specific religious building with these specific religious symbols, all of which were created by a small number of people and served only a small number of people. And yet honoring things like the sun or the moon, which have had an impact on every single person in every place in the world throughout all of time, essentially, that's not appropriate? Now, historically, the universalism in our name, Unitarian Universalist, refers to universal salvation. It's very much a concept within the Christian framework. But I think we can also understand it as a broader principle, as in we value the things that are most universal to human experience and most universally accessible, rather than any practices or principles that are designed to benefit or privilege just a few. It's a kind of universalism that invites us to literally recognize and appreciate the universe. Now, I absolutely do believe that people can have powerful experiences of religion, of God, of the divine, within a church building and within a church worship service. I mean, given my job, it would be awkward if I did not believe that. It's literally what we're doing right now. So that does certainly have value. And it just makes no sense to me whatsoever that we would try and disconnect people from the feeling that we have looking at a mountain or an ocean, the beauty of a sunrise, the light of golden hour as the sun is setting, honoring the equinoxes and the solstices. Now, especially in times of great challenge, I think it can be incredibly powerful and grounding for us to engage in rituals that have existed in some fashion for thousands and thousands of years, and it can be practiced individually or collectively anywhere on this planet. Keith Arnold, our amazing director of music and arts, looked it up in preparation for this service and found that the exact time of the solstice for our region was 10:03 a.m. this morning. And so those of us who were leading worship today and in the sanctuary took a moment to observe it. Honestly, don't think I've ever observed the exact minute before. And I have to say it was very meaningful to recognize the exact moment of a shift of this entire planet hurling through space. And as I wrote in the description for today's service, while this process of observing solstice can be very grounding, it does also present us with the reality that we are simply going in circles. Technically ellipses, yes, but we are simply just going round and round. Now, in some years, we do make significant progress in our lives. We experience cycles or movement that gets us closer to something that we want: better health, better job, better relationship, a better place to live. But in other years, it may feel like no progress was made, or that maybe things actually got worse. On one hand, we have to recognize that we don't always need progress, because there is a very real way in which our society defines it in ways that are not healthy. Because our understanding of progress is heavily conditioned by capitalism and marketing. And so we are unconsciously trained to favor growth and consumption over contentment. Because if we're happy with what we have, we're not spending money on new things to make us happy. And I think for most of us, the idea of staying exactly the same doesn't quite hit the mark either. Because it means that we're not learning anything. It means that we're not growing. And often we do want things in our life to be better. So how do we deal with this tension? The paradox of wanting to be content with what we have, but also wanting to change and grow. Now, in our faith, we take wisdom from many sources. Sometimes they are unusual. And so with some surprise and embarrassment, I will share some wisdom from the packaging of Chex Mix. The big bag from Costco. Now, I don't deal with the little bags of Chex Mix. I want the big one. And what is ridiculous and borderline wrong as a marketing slogan, I think turns out to be a pretty decent life philosophy. Now, at the top of this Costco-sized Chex Mix bag, it says traditional and original. Not just traditional, not just original, it is both original and traditional. And then at the middle of the bag, it says, and I'm quoting here, "Now Chextra delicious," as compared to previous recipes. So somehow the team at General Mills has figured out how to defy the laws of physics and nature and make something that is simultaneously the traditional original and also different and better than the traditional original at the same time. What a miracle, General Mills. Now, on one hand, it is just marketing nonsense. But as I've thought about it, and I have to say it's kind of annoyed me at how much it's felt true, I do think it has a real wisdom to it, that we don't want to get too invested in progress, because it invites us to link our sense of self-worth to output and productivity. And we don't want to be on that treadmill. But we don't want to stay exactly the same either. And so I think the answer might just be accepting that both and approach, that we can be our original traditional selves, embracing contentment and acceptance of who we are, and at the same time, we can be a little different and better. Now, I've been exploring this tension for the last year through a project that sits right at the edge of a grounding spiritual practice and an utterly poor use of my time and energy. My youngest kid, Clara, got a new bike earlier this year with a combination lock. And you can set it to any combination, and I let them pick. And I really did intend to write down the combination, but I did not. My wife suggested that I contact the company, and they were gracious enough to simply send another lock. But I'm not someone who gives up that easily. So it's 4 digits, which means that there are 10,000 possibilities. I've calculated that it takes about 6 minutes to try 100 combinations, which means it takes 10 hours to try all 10,000. Mostly I do it while I'm watching TV. I turn 1 digit, I try and open it. I turn 1 digit, I try and open it. And I meticulously note the ones I've tried by the 100. And I got through all 10,000 combinations once, and it didn't open. So I'm doing it again. My best analysis is that I just wasn't pulling it hard enough at each turn. So I'm halfway through the project again, and so I think I've now tried over 15,000 combinations. If it doesn't work this time, I'm not sure that I'm going to try for a third. But I also don't want to get rid of a perfectly good lock. So it is a satisfying meditative process, but at present it is really just going in circles rather than cycles. What I've been able to do in this process is to distinguish sufficiently between the process of doing it and the outcome. And just decided that I'm enjoying the process enough and the process feels right enough that I can keep doing that regardless of the fact that the outcome is not guaranteed. And I think that approach can work very well for us as we confront this question of progress, not knowing exactly whether it's cycles or circles or something else coming to us. Earth and other celestial bodies will continue to orbit. The waves of the ocean relentlessly keep coming in. We are, as humans, making irreparable change to the rhythms of nature, and still, the rhythms of nature and of the universe are the most powerful rhythms that exist in our world. And so they offer us an ongoing invitation to slow down, to calm down, to zoom out from the specifics of our own experience and our own time, and recognize just how tiny we are in the grand scheme of things. Now, there is a place where one of the common rituals in winter solstice services can be very helpful, and we're going to do that together. And that is identifying something that you want to leave behind in the past year. We don't know what's coming exactly, but we do know what has happened. And so one of the traditional rituals is to write something down on a piece of paper, a habit, a tendency, something in your life that is not serving you that you would like to release. Each of you should have gotten a piece of paper on the way in. If not, we have many, many more. What you write will not be spoken aloud or shared with everyone else. Our worship service will officially end around a fire on the terrace. After a spoken benediction here, we'll go outside, do a very brief ritual, and then I'll invite each of you to put your papers into the fire. And once everyone has done so, we will close with a closing song, Here Comes the Sun. Folks on Zoom, if you don't have a scrap of paper, I invite you to get one now. And folks on Zoom, we were gonna go outside with a camera, a phone camera. You can participate in this process as well, and invite you to find a safe way to burn your paper or otherwise dispose of it afterward. But right now, as Keith plays a little music, take a moment to write down on that piece of paper something you would like to release. And there's pens in the pews, and if you need paper or pen, please raise your hand and our fantastic ushers will bring one to you. This week, I was talking to Mo LaFrance, who is one of the leaders of All Souls Earth-Centered Souls group. And we're talking about how fundamentally important it is for our brains and bodies to have periods of rest. And in this time of year, from Black Friday in November through New Year's, our nation is dominated by what I think is fair to call the celebration industrial complex. The quest for rest and for meaning is often buried deep under the marketing machine. It's hard to escape, which for me means observing the solstice. The quiet just looks better and better. Something we've done in the past in my house for solstice, and I'm planning to do again tonight, is to try not to use any large electric lights or screens after dark. We mostly just use real candles, supplemented with a few battery-powered candles and a flashlight here and there for safety, but we eat by candlelight, we play games by candlelight, read by candlelight. It is a very simple way to experience quiet beauty. And even if you can only do it for a few hours or an hour, I encourage you to try. In the end, we do not know what combination of cycles or circles our future holds. What we do know is that whatever happens, the earth will still be holding us. Amen.
I would like to draw your attention again to the connection card. I obviously didn't make it up here with one. And also the question of the week for the connection card. What intention will help carry you through the cycles and circles of the coming year? So as the music plays, you're invited to contemplate and reflect on how you would answer this question. And you can also use this time to complete both sides of the connection card. Our December Share the Plate recipient is Miriam's Kitchen. Many of you have heard of it, I'm sure. It's a local Washington, D.C. organization that's focused on ending chronic homelessness through both direct support and advocacy. Miriam's Kitchen does critical work in the neighborhood and also across the city. Think of it like they're the innkeepers who again and again say welcome. All Souls work with Miriam's Kitchen helps support individuals. All Souls works with us. I didn't make a complete sentence, sorry. I give to All Souls for myself because my spirit is nurtured, and also because our engagement in social justice. And one thing a lot of us don't think about, I don't have children, is the valuable education that is lovingly taught to our youth. I encourage you to give generously in support of Miriam's Kitchen, as well as to support the ongoing mission and ministries of All Souls. We will now collect the connection cards, and the offering will be gratefully received.
After the spoken benediction in a moment, I invite you to join us around the fire on the terrace. You can get there both through this door in the front and by going around, or by going out the back and around. And parents who have kids in RE, we invite you to participate in the ritual, and that should still end up at the right time for you to go get your kids downstairs. I will close simply with this. If Chex Mix can do it, so can we. We can be our own original, traditional selves, embracing contentment and acceptance of who we are right now, and at the same time, we can also be a little different and better. May it be so. See you around the fire.